Georgia General Assembly. We also know that the feasibility study that was the basis for it, or it needed to be included with the legislation, we've read that and we've analyzed it and analyzed it and analyzed it. The third one was, our goal was to just defeat Greenhaven legislation. So I'm talking primarily tonight about Greenhaven. There will be others here talking about Vista Road. So we'll move forward with this. And by the way, this is year 5. That's why we call it the never-ending saga. Okay? So with that, we'll move forward. Cityhood promises, and we just wanted to touch on what it actually means. Can't see that too well, but I can see this. The proposed Greenhaven legislation is constantly reappearing, and as I said, this is the 5th year that legislation is going to be introduced to create the city of Greenhaven. And then you ask yourself why? Because there are financial incentives for developers and contractors, and a substantial increase in costs to residents, renters, property, and business owners. Unseen sponsors, corporate sponsors and developers, with the intent to redevelop valuable, low-density land in our area. They target urban land, and in our case, is property near Atlanta and near I-285. Most residents are not aware of the cityhood movements, and I say this because our organization has spent a great deal of time over the last year, and I know that the Neighbors Against Greenhaven have had their outreach a lot longer. But when we meet face to face with residents about Greenhaven, it's amazing. And we wear this button to generate conversation. What is Greenhaven? They have not heard of it, or if they've heard of it, they're not really sure what it means. So from that, we figured that falls into one of our categories, which is the goal to educate the community. The other thing that we have going for us is risk ahead. Proposed Greenhaven's primary weakness is its vulnerability. We didn't say that. I mean, we've been saying it, but not like this. This comes directly from the website of Imagine DeKalb, the promoters of Greenhaven. These are their words, not ours. And if you go to the website, you'll see it on the website. Weakness, economic vulnerability. So when you see that, and this is something that those of us who have been opposing it have been saying all along, it's not viable. It's not financially viable. So the next part that we want to just cover briefly, who wants the proposed city? And the reason that we put this in here is because they're basically, we know if you see concerned citizens in opposition to Greenhaven, you know that's us and we're opposed to it. But there are 3 organizations around here promoting Greenhaven. They act independently, and you may not know that they all have the same goal, use the same resources, conduct joint meetings and all of that, with the goal of creating Greenhaven. And those organizations are South DeKalb Improvement Association, Greenhaven Business Alliance, and Imagine Greenhaven. And just so that you know, when this whole Greenhaven cityhood movement started, the name of the organization was Concerned Citizens for Cityhood for South DeKalb. And they changed their name last year to Imagine Greenhaven. So when you see Imagine Greenhaven, that's the new rebranding of the original group that started the drive. And one of the interesting things, if you look at who their officers are, they cross-pollinate. You have Dr. Rice is the registered agent for South DeKalb Improvement Association. She's the secretary of Greenhaven Business Alliance, and she's the incorporator and CEO of Imagine Greenhaven. Now, we didn't make this up, and one thing that we do want to be very clear about is the integrity of the information that we provide. This came strictly from the Secretary of State's website, where these organizations have to file an annual report. So the information comes from their annual report with the Secretary of State. The other thing, we just wanted to make sure that you're aware, there are 3 groups. And if you go to the Imagine Greenhaven website, you will see reference to Greenhaven Business Alliance, where they work in conjunction. This has been, we keep asking ourselves, why do they keep coming back? And what we've heard from them is, we haven't gotten a free and we haven't gotten a fair consideration of our legislation. Well, y'all find the sponsors of these bills. So starting in 2015, the 2015, 2016, there was a bill in the House, and there was a bill in the Senate. And they both failed to pass. Then, last year, there was House Bill 644, a lot of you may have heard of that. It failed. Then, this is a real interesting thing. Practically the end of the session last year, there was a Senate bill dropped. And guess who dropped it? A senator from Columbus, Georgia. Now tell me, how much a senator from Columbus, Georgia knows about what we need in DeKalb County, Georgia? If anything, you should be taking care of Columbus. But it speaks to a point that the proponents of Greenhaven, they hired a lobbyist. And that lobbyist, and I know because we were down in the legislature, Dorothy Kirby and I were down there almost every day. We thought we'd have a job, a real job. But we were down there every day, and they will go to any legislator. They don't care if they're Republican, they don't care if they're Democrat. They're getting paid over $10,000 to deliver a signer and sponsor of the bill. So anybody, because it's a general bill, which means that anybody in the House of Representatives or anybody in the state Senate can sponsor it or vote for it. It's not limited to our delegation members. And I just want to make that clear that anybody can sponsor it, and they are targeting any and everybody to make it happen. And you have to ask yourself, why? There's big money behind it. When we talked about the attraction of urban land to do development and contracting, that's what these folks want. The contract, and I'm gonna give you some examples. City of Stonecrest. So when you hear promoters of the city tell you, we're gonna run this city, they don't intend to. They really don't intend to run it themselves. What they intend to do is to enter into contracts with vendors to run the city. How do I know? They did it in Dunwoody. They did it in Brookhaven. They did it in Stonecrest. Stonecrest paid $16.5 million. It's not city employees. They're the contractors, employees providing the services. So it's big money in it from, if a city is formed, and I just wanna make sure that, everybody is aware of it. But it's back right now, and as of today, it doesn't have a bill number. There's, the lobbyists and the supporters are looking for a sponsor of the legislation. And we're getting close to the end of, in the session, where it has to find a sponsor. March 7th is what we call crossover day. If it's entered in, if somebody sponsors it in the House, they have to March 7th to get it over to the Senate. If it comes out of the Senate, same thing, getting it over to the House to keep it alive. So what we're, hoping and praying for is that there's no sponsor. And then that takes care of that. Just briefly, these are some service options. The main thing on this point is that you're getting today full services from DeKalb County. When a city is created, there are just minimal qualifications to become a city. First, they have a minimum of 200, population 200, and 3 services. So with this, you get full service from DeKalb County, you get full partial service with only 3 services listed for the new city of Greenhaven. This shows how, on the left side, DeKalb County, how your money flows from you as a taxpayer down to DeKalb County government. DeKalb provides services, and then it back up to you as the recipient of those services. Over on the right, Greenhaven, taxpayer, DeKalb County transfers money, or money is diverted from DeKalb to a new city, and then there's a middleman in there with contracts and vendors. Taxes will increase. Greenhaven proponents say that they can provide services for $45 million in revenues. Don't be deceived by the promise of discounts to disabled and senior citizens. DeKalb County does that. And one of our challenges is to let people know what they've already got from the county without having to pay a middleman to deliver services. So here we are with your taxes will increase. And I'm having a hard time seeing the side of that slide, but your taxes will definitely increase because DeKalb County, or the portion of Greenhaven, has very little commercial. And the things that everybody talks about how Dunwoody, Brookhaven, and all of them had lower tax rates, the residential tax rates and everything. Say Perimeter Mall. Okay, that's why. In Brookhaven, they took whatever the other crown jewels of the county from a commercial standpoint, they got it. You can see from the slide, 95% of the land parcels in this area are residential. And only 3% are commercial. And so when it comes to taxes and services and those kinds of things, where's the burden gonna fall? It has to be on the property tax, the residential tax person. So we just wanted to say that in these things that your taxes will actually increase, and there's no doubt about it. See, the city starts off with 3 services. So if they wanted to add, after they're created, another service, how are they gonna pay for it? Because it wasn't included in this $45 million. They're gonna have to pay DeKalb County government for all the services that they don't provide. They provide 3 services. Everything else, roads, drainage, sanitation, everything else is gonna come, health. The courts is gonna come from DeKalb County. So the county is basically bearing the burden of supporting these cities. They want to grow up and be a city, but then they want to rely on the DeKalb County taxes to support them. And that's by law. The county has no choice on that. So we just wanted you to be aware that those taxes will increase, and there are some missing pieces. One of the things that the proponents talk about is economic development, and how they're going to bring economic development to, they keep saying South DeKalb. It's driven by Greenhaven Business Alliance, the business piece. The plan is non-existent for you as a citizen to see it and evaluate it. It's not on their website. I'm getting the message. I'll go get it. If y'all can see it. But the main thing to know is we haven't been able to see their economic development plan. That's the key. So people can say anything that they want, but the key is what's the reality. Now, this is a sensitive subject, and I purposely elected to talk about this tonight because we've been politically correct in calling the denial of voting rights a false claim. It's a lie, and we need to call it what it is. We support voting rights everywhere, and there's no reason that this creating a city rises to the level or merits a civil rights claim. It's not true. What they're saying is, you down there at the Georgia General Assembly, you don't pass my cityhood bill, then you're denying me my rights. Did they deny Stonecrest their rights? And it's predominantly African American. But this creates the second largest city in the state of Georgia. So there may be questions about that and how valuable it is based on their own words. But it's disgraceful, and there have been too many people who've suffered and died for civil rights for us to play a game with this issue. And I'm going to go through these other ones, the last two, real quickly because my time is up. Basically, they're targeting two groups, the legislators and all of us who are African American, because we're not supposed to, we're supposed to get emotional and not deal with the fact that they're going to cost us more money. The issue is not racial, it's green. And what they're saying to the legislators, you don't vote for us, we'll put people up to run against you. That's what they did in the last election. You don't approve Greenhaven, then we're going to brand you as someone who's against civil rights. It's an insult to our intelligence, and it's an insult to the people who fought and died for real civil rights, a legitimate civil rights issue. So, and for African Americans, they just think that we're all supposed to be emotional and not having understood the implications of this cityhood for us. And it's very serious. So I have a solution, and then I'm through. And I haven't said all I wanted to say about it, but I have a solution. Prove the allegation. If Imagine Greenhaven believes that there is truly voter rights denial, let them get their high-priced buckhead lawyer to take it to court. The court is always the place of resolution or consideration when it comes to civil rights. So if that's true, get your lawyers, y'all go file a lawsuit, and then we'll see what happens, if it has validity or not. So that's our last comment on that. And you know, I just think it's shameful, and we just decided we're no longer going to be politically correct because it's harmful. It's harmful to the community, and it creates division. And they think that people are not smart enough. They can only work on your emotions rather than your intelligence. And it's an insult. And by the way, did they ask any of us to vote to have our property hijacked Can we get that right to vote? If we want to talk voter suppression, did they ask us, y'all vote on this city of Greenhaven before we go to the legislature? It didn't happen. Okay? So that's the solution to the issue, and I have, time is up, but if there's some strategy, we'll put this out on our website. And why the lie? You know, it's just the diversion. Because if you have a great product, you don't have to come up with a false narrative or a deflection to get your point across. It seems to me that you would be focusing on the merits of your product, Greenhaven, and trying to convince people that Greenhaven is a great product rather than trying to divert their attention by calling it voting rights suppression, basically. Okay? So I'm going to clear it up. 2019, let's end the saga. Enough is enough.
All right.